Dear students, welcome to the class. In the last class, with activity 2.3, we understood that acids produce hydrogen upon reacting with metals. That is, it was observed that hydrogen was found to be common in all acids. We can also say all acids have some similar chemical properties. I have a question for you. So far we understood that acids produce hydrogen on reacting with metals. That is, hydrogen was found to be common, right? But the question is, do all the compounds that contain hydrogen are acids? I repeat the question, do all the compounds that contain hydrogen are acids? No. There are so many substances, there are so many compounds that contain hydrogen, but they need not be acids. Because how do we define acids? If you can remember, we defined acids as those substances which in aqueous solution, that is with water, produce H plus ions. Is it not? So, all the compounds that contain hydrogen need not be acids. We have an activity to demonstrate this, activity 2.8, and here is a diagram corresponding to that. This diagram is important from examination point of view. Activity 2.8 goes like this. We need to take some solutions. The solutions are glucose, alcohol, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, etc. And fix two nails on a cork and place the cork in 100 ml beaker. Connect the nails to the two terminals of a 6-volt battery through a bulb and a switch as shown in the figure. Now pour some dilute HCl in the beaker and switch on the current. We will note down the observations. What happens is with the dilute HCl, when dilute HCl is poured, what happens is the bulb starts glowing. The bulb here starts glowing with HCl. Similarly, we need to repeat it with dilute sulfuric acid. So, I will read out the observations for you. Even with the dilute H2SO4, with the dilute sulfuric acid, the bulb glows. And when we repeat the same with the glucose and alcohol solutions, we find that the bulb does not glow. The bulb glows with HCl and H2SO4, but with glucose and alcohol, the bulb does not glow. So, what do you understand by this, dear students? We understood that is the glowing of bulb in this activity. I told you the bulb glows with HCl and H2SO4. The glowing of bulb indicates that there is a flow of electric current, right? The bulb glows because there is a flow of electric current. The flow of electric current through the solution is the indication, or the glowing bulb indicates that there is a flow of electric current through the solution. But the question is, what makes electric current flow through them? What makes electric current flow through the solution? We know that this electric current in aqueous solution is carried out by ions. Electric current is carried through the solutions by ions, by cations and anions. We know that the conduction of electricity in aqueous solution is due to the presence of ions in them. How did the ions form? Ions are formed due to the dissociation of acid. We took hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid, right, H2SO4, and with water what happened? They dissociated to form ions, H plus ions, Cl minus ions were formed in the case of hydrochloric acid. So, these ions are responsible for the conduction of electricity. So, electric current is carried through solution by the ions. By this, we can say that acids dissociate to produce ions in water. Not only acids, even bases, acids and bases dissociate and produce ions. Where? In aqueous solution only. In aqueous solution or in water, acids and bases dissociate and produce ions in water. Similarly, both acids and bases conduct electricity. They conduct electricity because they dissociate and produce ions. Because acids and bases dissociate and produce ions, and these ions are responsible for the conduction of electricity, we find both acids and bases conduct electricity in aqueous solution only. And that is the reason in this activity with HCl and with H2SO4, we can observe that the bulb glows because HCl and H2SO4 both are acids. But what about this glucose and alcohol? Glucose and alcohol also contain hydrogen. When we write the molecular formula, glucose is C6H12O6 and the other is alcohol, right? That is ethanol. Ethanol is C2H5OH. They contain hydrogen, but they do not dissociate to form ions. In water, glucose simply dissolves, but it does not dissociate. It does not dissociate to produce ions. Both of these do not conduct electricity because they do not dissociate to produce ions. They do not dissociate or they do not produce ions. They do not produce, they do not generate ions. Because they don't generate ions, they don't conduct electricity as well. Is this point clear to you? So, let's understand further. What happened, what we did was, with HCl, dissociation, it underwent dissociation, HCl in water, it gave, this seems to be somewhat a rough equation in order to make us understand, in order to understand how ions are formed and so on, plus Cl minus. Similarly, H2SO4 also underwent dissociation to produce H plus ions and SO4 2 minus ions, H plus cation and SO4 2 minus anion. Similarly, we can try the same with some other acids like nitric acid, HNO3 in water. HNO3 dissociates to produce cation and anion, H plus and NO3 minus. Similarly, CH3COOH is another acid, acetic acid in water, generates ions, H plus ion and CH3COO minus anion. So what did we find in all these cases? We found H plus ions, right? H plus ion being the cation, and the other anions were formed. So what we can say is bulb glows in aqueous solution of HCl and H2SO4 as they conduct electricity. So what about the bases? We understood that acids in aqueous solution undergo dissociation to produce ions, and with this we understood the conduction of electricity and hence the bulb glows. What about bases? Bases also conduct electricity. So similarly we can write the equation for that, and also in the textbook in the activity. Further, we have been asked, repeat the same activity using alkalis such as sodium hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide is a base, and sodium hydroxide with water produces cation and anion, Na plus and OH minus, and these ions are responsible for the conduction of electricity. Is this point clear to you? Further, we'll move further. So from this, since the cation present in acid is H+, it suggests that acids produce hydrogen ions. You can underline this these points. Cations present in acids is H+, which suggests that acids produce hydrogen ions in solution which are responsible for their acidic properties. Please note it down. H+ ions are responsible for their acidic properties of acids. So further, we'll understand what happens to an acid or base in water solution. That is, in aqueous solution, what exactly happens? Now we understood in aqueous solution they dissociate and they form ions. But what happens in aqueous solution and what happens when they are not in aqueous solution? Here is a activity again, activity 2.9, and this activity is to demonstrate whether acids produce ions only in aqueous solution or not. So let's find out. In activity 2.9, please go through the activity 2.9. In activity 2.9, some solid NaCl is to be taken and dry test, and the apparatus is to be set as shown in the figure, and we are supposed to add some concentrated sulfuric acid to this. I'll write the equation corresponding to the activity. Please go through the activity. The equation goes like this: NaCl in the solid form is made to react with the concentrated H2SO4. Concentrated H2SO4. What happens is we obtain NaHSO4. What is that? Sodium hydrogen sulfate, right? In its solid state. And the very important thing here to note is HCl in its gaseous state will be evolved. So NaHSO4 is sodium hydrogen carbonate, right? Sorry, sodium hydrogen sulfate. NaHSO4 is sodium hydrogen sulfate. The important thing to note down here is HCl is obtained in its gaseous state. HCl gas is evolved. Further, we'll check out the activity. Test the gas evolved successively with dry and wet blue litmus paper. So, what we need to do is, we got to know that the gas is evolved, HCl gas is evolved, and we need to check out, we need to test the gas evolved successively with the dry litmus paper and also wet litmus paper. What is the significance? We know HCl is acidic in nature, right? With blue litmus, acids, what do? Blue litmus turns acids. The blue litmus turns red in color, but we need to check out with the dry litmus and wet litmus. To our astonishment, with the dry litmus, dry blue litmus, we don't find any change in color. No change in color. Actually, we expected some change in color, right? Because the litmus is blue in color and HCl is acidic in nature. We know that HCl is acid, but to our astonishment, we find no change in color. The color does not change. The color of the dry blue litmus does not change. But with wet blue litmus, we find the color changes to red. Turned red. So what does it indicate, dear students? With the dry litmus, there is no change in color, but whereas with wet blue litmus, the color turned red, it changed red. So it exactly indicates that HCl behaves acidic only in aqueous solution, the dry HCl does not show any acidic properties with dry blue litmus, whereas the same dry HCl dissociated to form H plus ions with wet litmus paper. Wet litmus is, there is a presence of water, and upon passing HCl gas to wet litmus paper, wet blue litmus paper, what happened? Dissociation took place. So with the dissociation, H plus ions were formed, and that is the reason we observe change in color. The blue litmus turned red. Is this point clear to you? So we will make it clear. Test the gas evolved successively with the dry and wet blue litmus paper. With the dry litmus paper, no change in color, and whereas with wet blue litmus paper, it turned red. So we will write few points related to this. Check whether the equation is balanced, the above equation. We will write few points related to this. Dry HCl gas does not dissociate to give H plus ions. We don't find any dissociation taking place. Where? With respect to dry litmus paper. This is with respect to dry litmus. And hence, and therefore, dry HCl gas does not behave acidic, does not behave as acid, because there is no dissociation, and hence it does not behave as acid in the absence of water. Please note it down. In the absence of water, that is with dry litmus paper, in the absence of water. Similarly, we will write few points what happened with the wet blue litmus paper. Before that, we can also write a equation, a convincing rough equation. In the absence of water, dry HCl in its gaseous state did not undergo dissociation. So what do you write? In the absence of water, dissociation does not take place. Dissociation does not take place. But what happened with water? Or in the presence of water, dry HCl gas exhibited acidic nature or acidic properties. That is HCl, dry HCl in its gaseous form, in the presence of water or in water. Am I clear to you? In water. What actually happened? In water, it dissociated to give H plus ions and Cl minus ions. So formation of ions, and we will note it down. We already got to know that hydrogen ions in solution and this H plus ions are responsible for acidic properties. So with this we will move further it exhibited acidic nature. Why? Because there is dissociation of HCl to give H plus and Cl minus ion. So you can write a line with respect to this equation. And further we will understand, I'll read out few points for you. This experiment, the above experiment, that is activity 2.9, suggests that hydrogen ions in HCl are produced in the presence of water only. Please note it down. The separation of H plus ions from HCl molecules cannot occur in the absence of water. So we will further write down the equation related to this. I once told you that H plus ions do not exist in water alone. The formation of hydronium ion was explained to you, was somewhere discussed, and we will discuss it again. HCl plus H2O. What we noted down was H plus Cl minus, but this H plus ions don't exist all alone. That is why the more appropriate way to write the above equation is this: H3O plus and Cl minus, and this is what is referred to as hydronium ion. Hydronium ion. And we'll understand how hydronium ion is formed. H plus ion in this case, aqueous in nature, that is with water. H plus H2O gives rise to H3O plus. So that is the reason we always write H plus, we always mention aqueous to H plus, or simply we write hydronium ion. We will have to mention like this, or H3O plus. So this is what we saw when acids dissociate in water. Do acids produce ions only in aqueous solution? We understood about it. What about bases then? What about bases? We already have discussed about this as well. Bases also dissociate to form respective ions. They also produce ions. Na plus, cation, and OH minus, anion. Similarly, we can write a few more equations with respect to this. KOH in water will produce K plus and OH minus, right? Similarly, you can write it down for magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. In water, hope this is clear to you. Both acids and bases undergo dissociation in water in aqueous solution, and they produce their respective ions. What about alkalis? Alkalis are the bases which dissolve in water or which are soluble in water. Not all the bases are soluble in water, but the bases, those bases that are soluble in water are referred to as alkalis. So what are alkalis? Alkalis are the bases which are soluble in water. So from all these equations, we understood that OH minus ions, that is hydroxide ions, these are referred to as hydroxide ions, are produced. With this background, we will once again come back to the neutralization reaction. You remember neutralization reaction is when acid and bases react to form salt and water. Acid and base upon reacting with each other form salt and water. We know that acids have H plus ion in common and bases have OH minus ion in common. Is it not? Apart from this, something that acids have, we will write it down with the letter X. Yes. And with bases, apart from OH minus ions, whatever it has got, we will mention it with M. Okay. We know that water is formed H2O or HOH. We simply write it as HOH. And we also know a salt must be formed out of this, and this salt must contain ions from bases and acids. The remaining ions, the other ions from base and acid. The base will come first and the ion containing to the acid next. That is, while writing the base, we take down the positive ion, that is the cation from the base and the anion from the acid. M is the cation from the base, whereas X is the anion from the acid. We will write down an example. So before that, we will further make it clear to you. H plus in its aqueous state and OH minus ions from base in their aqueous state form water, that is H2O. So we will write down an example to this. Acids HCl, H plus and Cl minus, whereas for base we will consider NaOH. We obtain a salt. The salt is NaCl. So please note down, I have written Na first, that is the positive, that is the cation from the base, and Cl I have taken later, that is the anion from the acid, the cation from the base and the anion from the acid will make a salt and H2O, water. This will make a salt. Okay, so the cation from the base and the anion from the acid will make a salt, and finally water is what we obtain in neutralization reaction. So dear students, this is all about today's class. Please go through the textbook and try to understand the concepts better. We will meet in the next class. Thank you all.